Have you ever struggled to connect with others, whether in your personal or professional life? In How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie offers timeless advice on how to improve our relationships with others, ultimately leading to greater success and happiness. In the introduction of the book, Carnegie emphasizes the importance of understanding human nature and our basic desires and needs. He argues that people are motivated by the desire to feel important and appreciated, and that by fulfilling this need in others, we can achieve greater influence and success. Carnegie presents a simple but powerful idea. The best way to win friends and influence people is to become genuinely interested in them. He encourages readers to focus on understanding others' perspectives, showing appreciation and respect, and finding common ground. Throughout the introduction, Carnegie provides numerous examples of how his principles have helped others achieve success, from business leaders to everyday people. He also acknowledges the challenges of putting his ideas into practice, particularly in the face of conflict and criticism. Overall, the introduction sets the stage for the rest of the book, offering readers a framework for understanding human nature and how to improve our relationships with others. Carnegie's message is clear. By treating others with respect and empathy, we can achieve greater success in all areas of our lives. Chapter 1: Fundamental Techniques in Handling People. Chapter 1 is an important introduction to the key principles of the book. The chapter provides a comprehensive overview of the fundamental techniques that are essential in dealing with people effectively. Carnegie emphasizes that understanding human nature is a crucial factor in developing interpersonal skills, as people are primarily motivated by their desire for self-preservation, recognition, and a sense of importance. Carnegie recommends that individuals avoid criticizing others and instead focus on giving honest and sincere appreciation. This technique involves acknowledging people's strengths and achievements genuinely. According to Carnegie, people crave recognition and appreciation, and by praising others, we can build a positive relationship and create an environment that is conducive to communication. The second technique Carnegie suggests is showing empathy towards others' perspectives and opinions. By actively listening to others and understanding their viewpoints, one can show respect and establish a rapport with them. According to Carnegie, people want to be understood, and by putting ourselves in their shoes, we can create a better understanding of their thoughts and feelings. The third technique for handling people effectively is to arouse in others an eager want. Carnegie believes that people are more likely to act when they have a strong desire to do so. Therefore, we can influence others by creating a desire for what they want. This technique involves highlighting the benefits that others will receive by taking a particular course of action. The fourth and final technique that Carnegie recommends is becoming genuinely interested in other people. He argues that people love to talk about themselves and their interests. By showing a genuine interest in what others have to say, we can create a bond and foster communication. This technique involves asking questions and actively listening to what others have to say. Carnegie uses examples and anecdotes throughout the chapter to illustrate his points effectively. For instance, he cites the example of Charles Schwab, who used praise and appreciation to improve employee morale and increase productivity. Schwab's actions demonstrate the power of giving honest and sincere appreciation in creating positive relationships and achieving success. In conclusion, Chapter 1 provides valuable insights into the fundamental techniques for handling people. These techniques include avoiding criticism and showing appreciation, demonstrating empathy, creating a desire for action, and showing genuine interest in others. By following these techniques, one can develop effective social skills and build positive relationships with others. Carnegie's examples and anecdotes make this chapter an enjoyable read, and his principles are actionable and relevant to our daily lives. Chapter 2: 6 Ways to Make People Like You. In this chapter, Carnegie provides practical advice on how to make a positive impression on others and build lasting relationships. The first way to make people like you, according to Carnegie, is to become genuinely interested in them. He advises readers to focus on the other person's interests and listen attentively to what they have to say. By showing a genuine interest in others, one can make them feel valued and appreciated, leading to the formation of a positive relationship. The second way to make people like you is to smile. According to Carnegie, a smile is a powerful tool that can put people at ease and make them feel comfortable. A genuine smile conveys warmth and sincerity, making it easier for others to connect with us. The third way to make people like you is to remember their name. Carnegie argues that a person's name is the sweetest sound in the world to them, and remembering someone's name can have a profound impact on building a positive relationship. He suggests that readers use mnemonic devices or repeat the person's name several times to help them remember it. The fourth way to make people like you is to be a good listener. Carnegie advises readers to pay attention to what others have to say, ask questions, and avoid interrupting. By demonstrating active listening skills, one can build trust and create a conducive environment for communication. The fifth way to make people like you is to talk in terms of the other person's interests. Carnegie believes that people are primarily interested in themselves and their needs, and therefore, we should focus on what they want and need. By understanding their perspective, we can tailor our communication to appeal to their interests and build a positive relationship. The sixth and final way to make people like you is to make them feel important. Carnegie suggests that we should give honest and sincere appreciation to others, listen to their opinions, and avoid criticizing them. By making others feel important, we can build a positive relationship and create an environment that is conducive to communication. In summary, Chapter 2 provides valuable insights into 6 practical ways to make people like you. These techniques include becoming genuinely interested in others, smiling, remembering their name, being a good listener, talking in terms of their interests, and making them feel important. By following these techniques, one can build positive relationships, establish trust, and create a conducive environment for communication. Carnegie's principles are actionable and relevant to our daily lives, making this chapter an essential read for anyone interested in improving their social skills. Chapter 3: 12 Ways to Win People to Your Way of Thinking. In Chapter 3, Carnegie provides 12 practical techniques to win people over to your way of thinking. The first way is to avoid arguments. Carnegie suggests that arguing only creates resistance and causes the other person to become defensive. Instead, he advises readers to seek common ground and find areas of agreement. The second way to win people over is to show respect for their opinions. According to Carnegie, people are more likely to be receptive to our ideas when we show respect for their opinions and beliefs. The third way is to never tell someone they are wrong. Instead, Carnegie advises readers to use tact and diplomacy to gently steer the conversation in a more productive direction. The fourth way to win people over is to begin in a friendly way. Carnegie suggests starting conversations with a friendly greeting or a genuine compliment to put the other person at ease and create a positive atmosphere. The fifth way is to get the other person saying yes. According to Carnegie, getting someone to say yes sets a positive tone for the conversation and makes it easier to persuade them in the long run. The sixth way is to let the other person do most of the talking. By listening attentively and encouraging the other person to share their thoughts and feelings, we can better understand their perspective and build a connection. The seventh way is to let the other person feel that the idea is theirs. According to Carnegie, people are more likely to be receptive to an idea if they feel like they came up with it themselves. The eighth way is to try to see things from the other person's point of view. By understanding the other person's perspective, we can tailor our communication to appeal to their interests and values. The ninth way is to be sympathetic to the other person's ideas and desires. Carnegie suggests acknowledging the other person's emotions and showing empathy to create a positive and supportive atmosphere. The 10th way is to appeal to the nobler motives. Carnegie believes that appealing to people's sense of justice, kindness, and selflessness can be a powerful way to win them over to your way of thinking. The 11th way is to dramatize your ideas. Carnegie suggests using vivid language and storytelling techniques to make your ideas more memorable and engaging. The 12th and final way to win people over is to throw down a challenge. According to Carnegie, people are motivated by challenges and will often go to great lengths to prove themselves. In summary, Chapter 3 provides 12 valuable techniques for winning people over to your way of thinking. These include avoiding arguments, showing respect for others' opinions, letting the other person do most of the talking, and appealing to the nobler motives. By following these principles, readers can improve their communication skills and build positive relationships with others. Chapter 4: 9 Ways to Change People Without Giving Offense or Arousing Resentment. In Chapter 4, Carnegie outlines 9 techniques for changing people's behavior without causing offense or arousing resentment. The first technique is to begin with praise and honest appreciation. According to Carnegie, we should strive to find something positive about the person and their behavior before offering any criticism. The second technique is to call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. Carnegie suggests framing the criticism in a way that does not place blame directly on the person but rather focuses on the behavior or outcome. The third technique is to talk about your own mistakes before criticizing others. By admitting our own flaws and mistakes, we can create a more empathetic and open atmosphere for feedback. The fourth technique is to ask questions instead of giving direct orders. Carnegie advises asking questions that lead the person to discover for themselves the need to change their behavior. The fifth technique is to let the other person save face. Carnegie suggests avoiding any criticism that may cause the person to feel embarrassed or ashamed and instead focusing on constructive feedback that allows them to save face. The sixth technique is to praise the slightest improvement and praise every improvement. Carnegie believes that recognizing and praising even small improvements can encourage continued progress. The seventh technique is to give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. By highlighting the person's positive qualities and emphasizing their potential for growth, we can motivate them to live up to their reputation. The eighth technique is to use encouragement. Carnegie suggests offering support and encouragement to help the person overcome any obstacles or challenges in changing their behavior. The ninth and final technique is to make the other person happy about doing what you suggest. By framing requests in a way that highlights the benefits for the person and their interests, we can create a positive and mutually beneficial outcome. In summary, Chapter 4 provides 9 practical techniques for changing people's behavior without causing offense or arousing resentment. These techniques include starting with praise and appreciation, calling attention to mistakes indirectly, asking questions instead of giving direct orders, and making the other person happy about doing what you suggest. By following these principles, readers can improve their ability to influence others and build positive relationships. Before we continue, we would like to inform you that we release these summaries in audio format on Spotify before we release them on YouTube in video format, with subtitles. We have also created a goldmine of information which you can get exclusive access to by supporting us on Patreon. You get in-depth summaries plus scripts, usually twice the length of our YouTube content, a list of the top 20 key takeaways and exercises, summary requests, and more. Thank you for the support and don't forget to hit the like button. Chapter 5. Letters that produced miraculous results. In this chapter, Carnegie emphasizes the importance of written communication and shares several examples of letters that were particularly effective in various situations. The chapter begins with the story of a woman named Dorothy Dix, a famous advice columnist from the early 1900s. Carnegie explains how Dix's letters to her readers helped them with their problems and provided them with the motivation they needed to make changes in their lives. He notes that Dix's letters were so effective because they were personal, specific, and empathetic. Carnegie goes on to share several other examples of letters that produced remarkable results. For instance, he discusses a letter sent by a company to a dissatisfied customer who had previously canceled his account. The letter was apologetic, acknowledged the customer's complaints, and offered a solution that the customer found satisfactory. As a result, the customer not only resumed his account but also became a loyal customer for many years. Another example was a letter sent by an employer to an employee who had been absent without leave. The letter was written in a way that showed the employer was genuinely concerned about the employee's well-being and offered to help in any way possible. The result was that the employee not only returned to work but also became a model employee who was praised by his colleagues and superiors. Carnegie also discusses the importance of writing letters of appreciation to people who have done something to help you. He notes that such letters can have a powerful impact and can help to build strong relationships. He shares an example of a letter he received from a reader who had attended one of his lectures and who wrote to thank him for the inspiration he had provided. Carnegie notes that such letters are among his most treasured possessions. Overall, the chapter emphasizes the importance of written communication in building relationships, resolving conflicts, and achieving success. Carnegie emphasizes that the key to effective written communication is to be personal, specific, and empathetic. He encourages readers to take the time to write letters that are meaningful and to express their gratitude and appreciation whenever possible. Chapter 6. 7 Rules for Making Your Home Life Happier. In this chapter, Dale Carnegie focuses on how to improve relationships with your loved ones and create a happier home life. He provides 7 rules to follow to help achieve this. The first rule is to avoid criticizing your loved ones. Criticism often leads to resentment and negative feelings. Instead, try to understand their perspective and communicate your concerns in a respectful and constructive manner. The second rule is to give honest and sincere appreciation to your loved ones. Everyone wants to feel valued and appreciated, so make sure to show gratitude for their efforts and contributions. The third rule is to show respect for your loved one's opinions. Even if you disagree, try to understand their perspective and show empathy for their feelings. The fourth rule is to be a good listener. Listen attentively and show interest in what your loved ones have to say. This can help build stronger relationships and create a deeper understanding between family members. The fifth rule is to avoid arguing. Arguments rarely lead to positive outcomes and can cause long-term damage to relationships. Instead, try to find common ground and compromise when possible. The sixth rule is to let your loved ones save face. No one likes to be embarrassed or humiliated, so avoid criticizing or belittling your loved ones in public. Finally, the seventh rule is to be mindful of your tone of voice. The way you speak to your loved ones can have a significant impact on how they perceive you and can affect the overall mood in your home. By following these 7 rules, you can create a happier and more harmonious home life. Remember to show appreciation, respect, and understanding towards your loved ones, and to avoid negative behaviors like criticism and arguing. With time and effort, you can build stronger and more fulfilling relationships with those closest to you. Conclusion: putting it all together. In the conclusion of How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie emphasizes that the principles outlined in the book are not just for business or social situations but are relevant to all aspects of life. He stresses the importance of genuinely caring for others and putting their interests first to build strong, lasting relationships. Carnegie also cautions against using the principles as manipulative tactics to get what you want. He emphasizes that the key to success is to focus on the other person's needs and desires, not your own. To put the principles into practice, Carnegie suggests several steps. First, make a conscious effort to improve your listening skills and pay attention to the needs and desires of others. Second, try to put yourself in their shoes and understand their perspective. Third, be genuinely interested in others and show that interest through your actions. Carnegie also advises readers to be open to criticism and to actively seek out feedback to improve themselves. He emphasizes that the most successful people are those who are constantly learning and growing. Finally, Carnegie reminds readers that relationships take time and effort to build. It's important to be patient and persistent in your efforts to build strong, lasting relationships based on mutual trust and respect. In summary, How to Win Friends and Influence People is a timeless guide to building meaningful relationships based on genuine care and consideration for others. By putting the principles into practice and making a sincere effort to understand and connect with others, anyone can achieve success in all areas of life.